the fact that Fnatic has struggled a little bit as a team, as individuals, we still see Reals and Zyrhoes turn up on the regular. Panthera is able to make Zyrhoes and Reals look like players that just haven't had the experience or the success that they've had. So very rough for Fnatic. They will one more time have a first pick as we head into game number 2. Panthera will not be able to pick Khepri, and they themselves will opt to ban something else.
Still the most banned god in the game. Khepri, 69%. No one wants to deal with that. Giannis as well. Spouting, what is that, a 79% appearance rate in the picks and bans, whether it was banned or picked away. Pretty equal, honestly.
Yeah.
And then it looks like both teams are going to go with the same strategies here. If Apollo is banned away by Panthera, it's going to be the same through the first set.
Bacchus is just so obnoxious. We've seen him just be able to take over games. We've also seen him have no impact for the teams that know how to mitigate
Flounders
him.
around, does nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, Bacchus' strength in teamfights hasn't changed at all, and is this the salty EU run back? I mean, Fnatic have to switch something up.
Maybe. Maybe. It might just be execution.
I still like the Kuma pick, but it just, I mean, execution possibly, but I mean, like, if you couldn't execute it last time, how are you going to execute it this time?
Sure.
Thor, more than likely going to be picked up by Panthera. No reason for them to kind of switch it up right now. They looked confident in every single lane.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise there. We'll
Oh,
the Bacchus pick here.
A little bit worried about that getting banned away, I think.
Either banned or picked, just in case Fnatic want to switch things around. Bacchus was a big part of what Panthera were able to do. iRaffer was very interested in engaging. Scylla will be the choice for Zyrhoes
I like this much
time
more.
around. Why? Why do you like the Scylla so much?
I don't like Soul in the mid, man. It just, I've watched Souls in the mid. I don't know the win rate. I'll have to go back and check, or if someone can, tweet at me. I don't think it's very high, right? We've seen Stealth play it a lot, but it's not a lot of guaranteed damage, especially around mid camps, where Stellar Burst can actually hit onto walls, and so you don't have that kind of the crush and the I'm a monsters over the top. So you have to position yourself in in a guaranteed spot, right? The opponents are going to know where you need to position yourself to fight at mid camps every single time. Otherwise, all you have is your ult over the wall.
That's very true.
And then you don't have the vision to make sure to confirm it and line it up with your team.
Yeah, that's very true. So, and then when it comes to player geometry with Thors and Yammirs, that becomes problematic as well. First round of picks are secured, and Panthera have the 1-2 punch of Bacchus Awilix combo, although Adapting can definitely do that all by his lonesome. Isis as well. And then Athena will be the support for BigManTingz.
Rom banned away. So Panthera targeting out Reals here in the second phase. Lock away is Chronos. Lock away is Rom. They're not scared of his Hou-Yi, is what they're basically saying right here. Fnatic, they're going to once again ban away Dimi. So targeted here.
Targeted. And Guan is just also fitting with the Fnatic motif of bans, just really annoying. Panthera have the option now to select one god, and one god only. We'll see which they go.
This is a much harder lineup for Panthera if they want to run Skadi, right? Not only the Athena, who can instantly close the gap with their dash, but guaranteed taunt to burn purification there. No CC immune ult for her. Still, though, emilitoo confident in his positioning. He's going to be running it.
I mean, hey, Skadi has won every single game she's been in the SPL, Kevin. Every single game Skadi's been on the winning team. Every single one.
I hate you. You're going to repeat your same sentence? I want to repeat my same
Look
sentence.
at that. Win percent, 100%.
I hate you.
Skadi, incredible.
Part of it says 100% win rate, too. And she's also been played 2 times, or I think 3 times more than Skadi.
She's been banned a whole bunch as well. PandaCat, watch out. Anhur. Oh, that one feels a lot better if you are rooting for Fnatic. Reals in the Anhur is, honestly, in my opinion, a lot scarier than the Hou-Yi. Reals' Hou-Yi leaves a little be desired, but Anhur, there's a reason it's Fnatic Anhur, as Bellona's picked up for maniaKK.
Panthera looking to find their solo laner here. Tyr and Guan Yu have been locked away, but Dimi's always the guy to experiment. Still going to go back to the Warriors, though. Amaterasu picked up.
I like Amaterasu. I think that she offers a lot to a team, especially given the auras. And an extra movement speed, Skadi is not going to say no to that. Any way you can help me get out of jail, I'm going to take it if I'm a Skadi player.
58% for Amaterasu, and then Bellona rocking only a 40, about a 20% difference there. And a lot of this, I think, is because the later the game goes, the stronger Amaterasu gets and kind of the weaker Bellona gets. And honestly, Warriors right now, they're really good for about a 10-minute window, but once everyone's level 20, more specifically once the Hunters have their penetration online and the Mages can blow them up as well, it's a lot harder for them to kind of bully the way they do once they're in that mid game, right? Because if they're 5 to 6 levels ahead, they're these monsters. But if they're even level, kind of like, hey, you're a warrior. What are you gonna do?
That's why I like to see if you pick the Warriors, I like to see something, whether it's crowd control or peel or whatnot. Bellona's always the sort of exception because she just dominates lane so well. But there's honestly not a lot of tools for Bellona to use as far as crowd control or assistance like that. It's really
She can
just
pop Magi's with Scourge. You can do that.
it's really like a lot about the ultimate and an all-in type strategy as opposed to a Guan Yu, which is more like consistent throughout the team fight, just like Amaterasu.
A lot of protections on that Eagles rally here.
50.
But emilitoo, once again, going to be back on the Skadi the second time we've seen her in the SPL, only being played by him so far.
Yep.
And this was the first week she was available. She
Yes.
wasn't available last week. That's something important to note here. And Panthera, a little bit less peel for him this time, but they still have this early game pressure comp that I think if they could abuse, emilitoo's probably always going to be in a good position.
You reckon we'll see more Skadi this weekend?
Maybe. I think Zapman was the only other person
Yeah.
that I felt was going to run it. I always feel like emilitoo is willing to run anything new. Just it's also because of how good his team is. It's a lot easier.
Zap and emilitoo are always the ones to try out the new stuff, whether it's their own personal skill, the skill surrounding them on their teams, or just the desire to do something different. These guys always wind up pulling out the new characters.
A lot of people underestimate that, right? Either new characters or characters that haven't been played in a while. We've seen Kukulkan Khan picked up a lot recently, both in Con and I think there was someone else in Europe. Really nice purification coming out from Realzx, but I don't think he's going to be able to survive this. Actually, iRaffer turning his attention to BigManTingz, recognizing he's not going to have enough damage to finish off Realzx.
Beautiful purification from Skadi. Honestly, Anhur just barely got out of there, but the reason he was pushed up so much was the impale on emilitoo would have been death for that. That would have been first blood. So extremely well played by Panthera to turn that around and get Realzx as low as he did and force him into popping those pots.
This is really bad for Realzx now in this position. No more potions, already poked out, and Skadi, I mean, with his Ice Spear, it's pretty easy to hit, right? It's not as much damage as, say, a Spirit Arrow or as high scaling, but still, I mean, it's pretty wide. It's hard to miss.
Yep.
It's hard to miss.
It's hard to miss. It's going to clear your wave relatively quickly, and it's going to deal a chunk if you're targeting a god as well. And Panthera have complete lane dominance here on the left side of the map. Complete. Just pushed onto the tower.
And Realzx losing a lot of golds early on. You could see actually fairly close to emilitoo, so it hasn't been too impactful just yet. In the mid lane, though, Zyrhoes combining with Jifffy once again, and I like this Scylla a lot more than the Soul. Funny enough, right? Soul was this dominant early game mage, and now with the introduction of Soulstone, right? The weakness in Scylla in that early game, it just sucked, right? It was just terrible. You had to wait until 15 minutes until you could really do something. It's completely gone.
Right. I was talking, man, Hindu was up here the other day, and it was like level 8 was where you could expect to clear the wave with Crush. Now you see the level 3 with a red pot and otherwise. But Fnatic going to get aggressed on. Knockback will take iRaffer out of the conversation. And the jungler rotation from Panthera, a little bit expected this time around. Adapting shows its face level 5, but unable to find Realzx. Jifffy and Zyrhoes will rotate just for the pigs.
And they have to do this, especially considering that Adapting had stuck around.
Yep.
It didn't look like he was going to try and contest, but the fact that he was there means that Fnatic have to play it safe. 4-man split that, or actually I don't believe Realzx got any of it.
And it's a just-in-case play. You got to make those just-in-case plays, especially when there's no first blood on the board, etc. You got to make those just-in-case plays.
iRaffer level 5 now, same with emilitoo, and they're actually going to be rotating over to the red buff. They know that Scylla actually backed to base, I think. Same with Jifffy there, so there's going to be no way that Fnatic can contest this at all.
Yeah, Panthera using their context clues to the best of their ability and will sneak away the red buff in the enemy jungle. Nobody even coming close. BigManTingz finally starts thinking about it at the last moment, but a little bit too late to show up. Realzx will back, and he'll purchase level 2 boots.
Look at this minion tax, man. He's like, emilitoo, you're not getting a wave solo ever. Three-man splitting it. This is going to help Realzx a little bit. You can see, BigManTingz killed a couple creeps. I don't think he wanted to do that.
No.
Realzx going to even up with emilitoo, though. emilitoo has rotated over to the mid camp, so Panthera actually doing a lot of splitting right now. Surprising. You don't really see it this much, right? A lot of times they'll just leave emilitoo to go back to base, finish off an item, and then rotate back in, but emilitoo still hasn't taken a trip to base, has a health potion as well, and I don't think he wants to until he can full buy boots.
Most likely. I mean, it's just we used to see a more sort of hard back time when the stacking items came out, right? 1,400 gold to finish your Transcendence, 1,400 gold to finish your Devo gloves if you want to go back that far, right? Like with the advent of boots, it's a little bit more wishy-washy. You see Realzx back for just level 2, but I think ideally you want to back for the full boots.
Taunt just off the mark there by BigManTingz. iRaffer quickly jumps away. Reaction times feeling pretty good right now. Right-hand side, though, maniaKK actually bullying out Dimi. This is to be expected. Amaterasu wins basically 0 matchup. There's only a couple that she has a better time at, and Bellona, maniaKK, not going to allow Dimi to farm up at all. Has teleport, though. Takes a trip back to base. Teleports to his ward.
maniaKK's been doing pretty good in his first game back after missing the last time around. Even in the loss last time, it wasn't. maniaKK didn't impact the game in a positive light, but he wasn't, didn't see any rust, if that was a concern for any fans at home, missing a game coming back. So, still here. Nothing to be concerned about as he plays the Bellona.
And question is, when are Panthera going to force something? We haven't really seen emilitoo adapting and iRaffer combined for kind of the wombo combo, right? That's the whole point of the Awilix. You have the Bacchus or the Sobek, they knock him up, you pull him out of position, and then your mid laner combines with your support and your jungler to just kill someone before they have a chance to react.
Sure. Realistically, nice jump from Realzx. I think Awilix is a character that can be played without any other knockups on the team. I think she's just that good. And Bacchus worked out well last time. I think it's kind of just icing on the cake if there's another knockup for Awilix to deal with.
Look at this, though. iRaffer is rotating to mid. The pings are out, though, and I think Fnatic, no, BigManTingz is actually going to try and turn it on to iRaffer. The taunt, once again, just off the mark, but this time, Raffer, it wasn't his reaction time. It was the fact that he had a little bit of space between them. He does have boots completed. Actually, both had boots completed. But I think, honestly, BigManTingz was in combat a little bit before that, so he actually didn't get the bonus movement speed from Travelers.
Exactly. Already out of combat was the enemy, so it was Raffer, whereas BigManTingz was helping farm in the mid lane, so a little bit slower on that. On cooldown, red buff spawns, and red buff gets despawned. 2 in a row. Panthera will strip away the damage buff from the opposition, and here's the first chance that we get to see of Panthera aggression. Jump will not be pulled.
iRaffer staying alive for now, but actually trying to turn it right now, and there's actually adapting, taking out Jifffy. BigManTingz knocked up, surrounded by 4 players. No one can get the body block. Bacchus on him, only 1 more hit, and it's going to be the overhead. No, it's not even going to be the feather step. It's just going to be in the last auto, and adapting finds a double.
2 kills for Panthera, both to the jungler. Definitely a good look. Last time around, Kevin and I, we had a little bit of disagreement about the Bacchus first blood. I think we can both agree that Awilix for the first blood is a good look.
and another kill to follow up on that. Almost found 3 kills, honestly, Realzx. That purification lasting just long enough so that adapting can't pull him kind of back into the fight. And Realzx was very low once again, and now that's going to allow emilitoo to keep up the farm. You can see he's got full boots. Realzx is ahead of him in build, but I think right now emilitoo has a lot in the bank.
Realzx with the gold lead.
Actually, their gold is even. Yeah, I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yep. Realzx slightly ahead in the gold, and Panthera slightly ahead in the gold as far as your teams are concerned. First blood coming a little bit later in this one than some of the matches that we saw today. Earliest in the afternoon, I don't know if you caught it, minus 55 before minions spawned. We saw Frostiak get 5-man ganked by the boys.
I saw it.
It was a lot of, well, it was fun for the viewers. I don't know about Frostiak.
You know, that was unfortunate there for Fnatic. They were trying to set up their wombo combo, right? Athena taunt into the guaranteed Najah ult, and then I'm a monster on top.
Right.
But they were actually waiting for Panthera to come out of the mid lane. Instead, they were actually splitting those back harpies. And then adapting kind of just walks like, oh, you guys are setting up for a gank?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just not going to go this way. And then he just walks back. Realzx, though, no walking for him.
Nope.
Feather step. Adapting finds 3rd kill of the game.
I love the reach from BigManTingz. Just he shows up, he's like, all right, I'm here to taunt. Wait, you obliterated my hunter that fast? Here, I have a spear. Yeah.
And Panthera still giving a lot of respect to this team, and that's something to talk about. You know, even though Fnatic have been struggling, right, Realzx and Zyrhoes always have a chance to turn it around, but more importantly, it's the fact that Panthera don't really drop games, right? The other teams have to earn them. I think we saw that with Eager and Randozzo's just yesterday, where, don't get me wrong, Randozzo's played well, but Eager almost dropped the games, not necessarily Randozzo's earning it. And that's because Eager didn't give the respect to the Randozzos, right, that honestly they deserved for their players being good enough to team fight. They were being overly aggressive and just taking fights and just diving very deep by themselves when they didn't need to, especially coming off of the game versus Enemy, where it was a chess match, where they had the most restraint I've ever seen those players ever have.
And that's something you rarely see out of the guys on Panthera.
Yes.
In fact, we saw that once, where the idea of let's get over aggressive or let's make certain decisions because our enemy is XYZ, that happened once against Cringe Crew. And then that second game, they won in 19 minutes, 17 minutes, something like that. It was, I mean, I think that moment, iRaffer just went, all right, boys. All right, boys. We're not doing that again, ever again. And, you know, first place or 8th place, Panthera's going to approach the game the same way, barring individual strategies.
And once again, the red buff stolen away. I mean, at this point, if I'm Fnatic, I'm getting a ward on there. Real's just trying to make something happen. Completely wastes his ult, and it's going to be Purification used. Kaldir chasing out Realz, but oh no, Kaldir was knocked back. And now it's Jifffy trying to make a play here.
It's going to land right on top of the Isis ultimate, and Zyrhoes helps out, but still not enough to find the kill. Jiffy's the one to put Fnatic on the board, but he pays for staying too long, and adapting will take him out. Now BigManTingz, dash was caught, but adapting very low. maniaKK looking for it. Dimi finds one. maniaKK finds one. This fight largely going the way of Panthera. If they can find this kill, and they do, Dimi finishes up the double kill, and it winds up being a 3-for-2 Panthera on the good side.
Nowhere near as clean as Panthera wanted, but still a win for them as they take the kill lead in that engagement after picking up maniaKK. They're also going to be able to be rewarded with these boars and those mid harpies, but once again, I mean, Panthera just able to walk away with that red buff. Honestly, if the ward was there, I think you see Fnatic collapse much faster, and then there's a possibility that Fnatic can kind of win that fight, but unfortunately for them, it doesn't happen.
I also have a real big beef with that ultimate out of Realzx. I don't know what the plan was, or it just seemed very haphazard. I loved the pillar, and I did not like the follow-up.
Here's what it was. The pillar was not placed how he wanted to. I think he just, as he threw out the pillar, he was already pressing 4, right? He already wanted to get the ultimate off, but unfortunately, emilitoo had just barely created enough space to get on the other side, and then so it was a lot easier to juke instead of him being kind of stuck inside the slow point blank to Realzx.
Yeah, usually we see the pillar impale combo, but I'll buy that. I'll buy that.
And
From here, it looked a little bit like frustration, but I think you're probably more correct than I am.
And you can see, though, emilitoo having a little bit of trouble. The combo came through for Panthera there. He didn't get full womboed, right? He still had a little bit of health, and he baited. And that's honestly what allowed Panthera to pick up maniaKK as well, because maniaKK spent so much time in that backline trying to finish off emilitoo. And even though he finally did, he took all that poke, and that's how Panthera were able to find the win in that fight. And now they're up about 1,700 with no Gold Fury taken just yet.
You know, Jifffy, I want to get your opinion on this. Actually, Jifffy dies there, right? Jifffy dies. He's in the middle of the team fight, but he's the one to put the kill on the wombo combo. Was that worth it? Was his death worth it?
No, it's
no,
because they also lost their boars. They lost the red buff to begin with. They lost mid harpies. It's like even if he gets the kill, it doesn't matter, right? Jifffy right now is just an ult bot for Zyrhoes.
And there's the combo, and it'll come down onto iRaffer, still alive. Ring not going to reach, and
was that out of range or did he miss it?
No,
but it's going to be maniaKK actually rotating over, finding the kill under tower, and here's adapting though, taking out Realzx inside the circle of protection. Not enough. maniaKK picks up a double, and there's a little bit of life in Fnatic now.
With that, Dimi's going to go ahead and ult, and there's the Bellona bludgeon. Sanctuary, the damage away is Yammyn, and he'll be able to give it right on back thanks to the wing gust. Giving chase is Dimi.
The movement speed.
Yeah, there it is.
Once again, a 3-for-2 in favor of Panthera, so barely walking away with wins. But, I mean, Fnatic, they got the first 2 kills there. Obviously, they lost Realzx, but it was a winning engagement for them. maniaKK coming up big, but just not enough.
Just unfortunate if you're a Fnatic fan, but very fortunate if you're a Panthera fan. Absolutely crushing it. They're going to move directly to the objective, and the Gold Fury killed pretty much in the amount of time it takes me to point out that Panthera is attacking the Gold Fury. That'll push them 4K in the lead, and Fnatic have to start looking for some climbing gear. That's a big mountain.
It's going to be pretty hard for them. And now, Dynasty played Helm, finished for Zyrhoes here, working on what's more than likely a Book of Thoth, but Realzx making sure not to turn around at all. Look at that, just like not even debating it, because what was going to happen more than likely was that Adapting wouldn't have jumped forward if Realzx actually jumped away. He instead would have just canceled Suku and then sent the bowling ball to where exactly Realzx would have landed. You got me calling it a bowling ball now.
You made fun of me the first time I called it the bowling ball. But it just makes so much sense.
I still don't like calling it a bowling ball.
There's the root coming out from Zyrhoes, and that'll stop iRaffer in his tracks. And a lot of damage dealt from Crush and Universe Ring Toss brings iRaffer down to about 40. And whatever initiation Panthera were looking for is gone.
And that right now also is because the double flat pin items coming up from Zyrhoes, right? He's got the Dynasty Plate Helm, that's 15. Shoes of the Magi have 10. So iRaffer, all he has is the Chug right now. No like main magical defense item. Athena ult.
Oh, going over to the left side, emilitoo in some trouble. Athena ult comes down, but not enough to deal the damage. That was a big opportunity for Fnatic to try and get that kill.
They needed it. I feel like they actually needed it there.
They really did.
And Dimi, after these last couple team fights, found 3 kills and 0 deaths. And even though maniaKK was controlling him early, now it's in favor of him as he pushes him back. Going to be a lot harder for Fnatic Soul Laner to rotate in and make those big plays.
Adapting's not going to be able to grab Naja's. Jifffy hits Purification in the air.
So Jifffy, I'm pretty sure they're actually hit Purification trying to stop iRaffer's knockup, and it just so happened that Adapting had also pressed that ult there.
Yeah. Well played.
Blue buff stolen away. Panthera chipping away at Fnatic still. And it's that 15-minute mark. I mean, it could be the breakout fight soon.
It'll be a solo duel here. Dimi versus maniaKK. maniaKK dealing a little bit of damage, but Dimi should be able to heal that up no problem.
Dimi doesn't care. He's just going to take a little bit of poke, clear the wave, switch stances, heal it all back up. Adapting actually has spent a lot of time over here in this duel lane. Realzx not scared, though, and Adapting walks away.
I mean, you gotta. Realzx has been extremely consistent for Fnatic, even in the face of losses. I mean, winding up with 1 death, 0 deaths when you're losing, that's tough. So if Fnatic are going to eke out a win against Panthera, Panthera seemingly assumes that it's going to come by way of the Hunter role. So a lot of attention being shown towards Realzx.
Gold Fury going to be spawning here. Not for 2 minutes, though. It's the red buff that Panthera are looking for. They've stolen the last 3 spawns of it. It's only been Fnatic able to secure, you know, kind of the first one. Jifffy is going to catch emilitoo out.
That's a good target. Emilitoo's going to fall down, and there's the Scylla hit. Sanctuary activated immediately after, but a good ring toss and a sash will spell the death of emilitoo, but too fast. 2 Furious comes to rotation from mid.
This is just so unfortunate for Fnatic, right? They keep hitting emilitoo with the combo. This is the 3rd time. The second time was actually on iRaffer instead. But every single time, these players live with just a sliver of health. If Zyrhoes had been able to farm up, if he just had a little bit more damage, if he had Doomorb instead maybe even, right? Fnatic wouldn't have been able to kill these players and not allow them to kind of turn the fights.
Jifffy is down 2,000 gold, Kevin.
Same as last game.
Unfortunately for Fnatic, the problem with their combo is that Naja doesn't have to be 100% of the damage, but he has to combine with your mid lane combo to make that relevant. Real's caught in some trouble. Adapting, not going to find the knockup as the Purification used. I like that decision from Realzx.
So you know why that was smart to early Purification is because you can purify out of it mid-air, but the problem is it'll drop you right where you land, and Realzx wanted to make sure to put as much distance as he could between him and the rest of Panthera, because he probably could have been chased down, and he would have been guaranteed to use his Purification anyway. Also,
a Feather Step is going to root you in place for a moment, right? Just a lot of options for Panthera to stop Realzx. He early purifies to make sure it doesn't happen.
Tier 1 on left, dead. Tier 1 in mid, under half. Tier 1 in right, sitting at about 20%. And Gold Fury about to spawn. Panthera all their members take trips back to base here as well. It's just perfect timing for them. They recognize that nothing on the map for them to gain right now except the gold tier is going to be spawning soon. Let's make sure to spin the gold in our inventory, grab our wards, gain control of the map, and then force it again.
18 on the clock, 10-4 read the kills, and Panthera have extended their lead well past 4K into the 5K division. 5,400 gold in the lead for your #1 seeded European team and the defending world champions.
Did they win Worlds? I thought that was Epsilon.
You're such a funny troll.
I'm not a troll.
Oh, if you were actually asking, then sure.
No.
Panthera used to be Epsilon, but they have left their organization, and they have not left the mid lane. BigManTingz in a lot of trouble.
He actually taunted some. Jifffy in the backline takes one to the sky, but once again, no follow-up. I'm a monster off. I don't see how Fnatic win this without I'm a monster. Realzx surging forward. Shell going to be popped by BigManTingz. And look at this, maniaKK in the backline. He's not so tanky. Tries to stay alive, but it's Dimi who finishes him off. And it's just so hard, right? It's hard enough facing off against Panthera. It's even harder with Fnatic's struggle so far.
Realzx is level 14 Realzx with an Asi and an Ikaval is sitting there just shoveling basic attacks into Dimi's full physical protection build, and it did not do a thing. Panthera's going to look at Gold Fury with half of their team, while the other half of the team looks at Fnatic, and it seems to be enough. Yammyn's able to find a kill. Adapting's able to find a kill, and Fnatic are just lost.
Surrender vote has started. This is worrying, right? Even if it goes through, even like this game, once again, like it's basically lost. But the fact that they surrendered both games in a single set, I mean, with Fnatic struggles already, right? Now, okay, I've been talking to Hindu about this. We've seen a couple roster changes in the SPL.
All right.
If I'm any team outside of Panthera, am I saying no to Realzx?
No. In fact, if I am any team outside of Panthera, I am sending DMs. Now, Realzx and Zyrhoes have been, Realzx specifically has been very loyal to this group of players, right? Yes. This Fnatic, going all the way back to SK Gaming pre-launch tournament, right? This was the team, but slowly the team has shifted, right? Proxy was the first person to leave, and then way back when. And then more.
Pretty sure Proxy was kicked. I think no one really leave.
No.
I don't think anyone's ever left Fnatic since the launch tournament or when they were known as SK. It's just been slowly replacing members, trying to find the right synergy. And then after that Worlds last year, where once again they were unsuccessful in the same point, right? 5th through 8th they finished twice in a row, and they were just like, all right, we gotta make some changes.
And you know what? In my opinion, some teams are a little bit hasty to make those roster changes. I think that all of the roster changes that Fnatic have made over the years have been correctly timed and evaluated, in the sense that, like, Captain Twig was given 2 splits to see if he could pick it up. You know, it wasn't just like, hey, you had a bad weekend, see you later, right? It's, all right, we'll give you a shot. We'll see if you can do it. And Realzx, I don't know. 3 years is a long time to stick with the same roster if you're not winning.
And maniaKK here trying to escape the gank from emilitoo. He did burn his ultimate. Oh, it's actually Dimi in a little bit of trouble. Dazzling offense, though. He's going to turn it on to maniaKK. Spirit Ball connects one more auto. It's Yammyn who finds it. I'm a monster over the wall. Once again, Fnatic trying to hit the wombo, but it's just not enough. Jifffy dies in return, and Panthera, they're not even worried about this. They're just going to find a tower. Realzx split pushing a tier 1 in the left. And I think that's frustration. Just it is frustrating to be a Fnatic member. He can't even get it. A teleport in.
I mean, it's definitely a little frustrating. Not able to find it. Dimi, kind of low. Realzx might have been able to, with as low Realzx is, no, he couldn't have. But Dimi's going to give chase, has the movement speed. There comes the Athena ult, and that'll be enough to dissuade Dimi.
He's just going to heal back up with the stance switch. Fire Giant going to go the way of Panthera. No one from Fnatic can contest it. The duo lane's in duo lane. And Zyrhoes is coming out of the base. 15-4 in kills. Panthera have Fire Giant.
This game is only 22 minutes in, and it just looks like 45. If you're looking at Panthera's side,
I know.
This is very rough, and again, it's just a testament to how strong this Panthera team is. Take a look at Adapting real quick. Is 14K. Take a look at Adapting's build right quick. The stone cutting sword. That is an expensive item. We see that item usually built a little bit later. That's a pricey item.
Still, though, going to find it there. No real tankiness coming out for Adapting yet. He's only level 18. And I mean, maybe this is the target that Fnatic should be looking at. Like I said, like
Adapting or
these adapting, but I mean he's level 20, so he's gonna have a higher health pool than most. Zyrhoes only level 16, so you know the base damage isn't really there yet. The thing is, right, is Fnatic early game twice, once on emilitoo, once on iRaffer, and then later again on emilitoo. Commit a lot into the fight, right? They full commit, which I think it's the correct decision. But the problem is that Zyrhoes is just a little bit behind in farm to Yammyn at all points of the game.
Yep.
And he goes to this Dynasty play at home, which is great power spike. But obviously do more. But you're going to be doing more damage once you have it fully stacked, simply because it's 140 power. It's a ton. And slivers of life left on the Panthera members after they get hit by Windfire Wheels into I'm a Monster. I mean, if those players die instantly, we could be seeing a much closer game.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the key for me, is that when you look at what Hunger for More was able to do with their combo, whether it was Vulcan or otherwise, right? The players died at the combo. If there's still a little bit of health, it just doesn't work as well. This is a wonderful bounce coming out from iRaffer. Pull on to adapting, and there's the final hit delivered by emilitoo for kill number 16. Make that 17 as the Hunter finds the double kill. Make that 19 as the Hunter finds the triple, and mid lane sneaks out one himself. The surrender vote has started. Real's the only one alive. In 24 minutes, Panthera take out Fnatic 2 games to none. And it was an exciting, explosive set for Panthera.
Less than 40 minutes of game time, I think.
Yep.
It was close to that. Just about 40 minutes of game time in this set, which a lot of times we're seeing games go that long. Panthera, like, they have established, right? There are no jokes, and Fnatic have established that they are struggling right now, right? Roster locks happen at the start of week 6. I'm not saying we're going to see Reals or Zyrhoes jump ship, but I mean, they're not making it to DreamHack right now unless somehow they become a magical new team within a week and start making an incredible, crazy run.
The first team to double-digit losses is Fnatic. Just internalize that real quick. Fnatic has seen so much success in the SPL historically, but not this time around. Much different story to talk about as Cringe Crew find themselves number 2 and Panthera find themselves number 1 in the league. Number 1 in the game was First Blood, and adapting, absolutely crushing it on the Awilix.
Once again, adapting, taking a trip to dual lane. And he got a double kill here, actually. I'm not sure if it was traditionally counted, but he picked up 2 kills. Almost finds Reals, though. Beautiful purification, and then it just switches over to Jifffy. And this is a fight where, once again, Jifffy trying to find emilitoo, unable to do so. He's going to chase BigManTingz here. Doesn't even need Feather Step. Last auto. And it's just going to be 2 kills.
Yeah, and adapting, just continuing on his reign of terror. Finally, this character is getting some of the love that I've been desiring so much. No jump available.
I love that. That was a pure bait by adapting. He actually like, all right, I'm going to fight you, Reals. Okay, you kind of juke the knock-up. You turned around in time. I'm going to walk back. But as he's walking back, iRaffer surges forward. And then immediately Reals just kind of gets comboed once again. Wasn't ready for it at all.
One of the biggest faux pas in most games and most gaming situations, you don't S-key. You don't walk backwards. But you have to if you're against that Awilix and you're moving slower. Raffer comes out of nowhere. Love it. emilitoo certainly wasn't quiet this time around either. Triple kill coming out for the Hunter. And he did so very well.
And this is just a beautiful combo, right? One player gets pulled back, he just focuses the target, switches Kaldir onto the next target he wants, maniaKK, and then he finds the last hit. Actually a big crit as well onto Zyrhoes there.
Look at that decision, the decision to take part in the team fight instead of go for the Phoenix. The guys on Panthera, the call was kill them all because we win the game. It wasn't take the Phoenix and we'll judge it. It was kill them all and then we'll win the game. And big part of that win, of course, was the soul laner Dimi. He's going to join us today. How you doing, bud? Congrats.
I'm doing just fine. What about you guys?
I'm doing well. It's always good to talk to you, Dimi. How are you doing, Adanas?
I'm doing pretty good as well.
All right. Hey,
you.
Dimi, Adanas is doing well too.
That's perfect.
So Dimi here. Good. You guys, I think, have another game this week, correct, against Dignitas?
Exactly, yes.
So how do you feel about this team? Because you've only lost 1 game so far, and it was against Cringe Crew, have been looking pretty good. Dignitas as well has kind of been the surprise team. Do you think you'll kind of walk over them like you did Fnatic today, or is this going to be more of a challenge?
You kind of never know what to expect. They're known for being the team that splits a lot. So if they split up against us, that's, of course, really good. We hope to not do that. But yeah, I think We should be fine technically. Just don't take it too easily. Give them a good amount of respect, just like we gave Fnatic in this set, and we should be good to go. Yeah.
So the competition in Europe is extremely tight outside of your team, of course. When it comes down to the other guys, the 2 through 8, what team? No team is going to scare you, right? Like afraid and scare is the wrong term, but what team do you guys find yourself preparing for the most?
So far, I think it has been Paradigm and Fnatic going to the game to like get the picks and bans drafts going earlier in the week. Then we practice it throughout the week and then just like play it out. I think we put in the most effort into Paradigm for sure.
Okay, so you bring up Fnatic. You know, you bring up Fnatic. They're number 8. They're definitely not the team they used to be, or is it just SPL? I want your opinion on Fnatic. Are they still last year's team, just struggling a little bit, or are they just a completely different squad?
They still do have really great players, and it's just a habit that we used to scrim them a lot. We used to be scrim partners, and from everything that we know is that they're tough opponents in scrims and in recent tournament play. Excuse me, just not this season, sadly, and still give them respect for that reason.
So obviously last year you guys were contenders for the Smite World Champions. Now you're the reigning champions. I was kind of joking with some people on the back earlier, right? Are you guys still putting in the same amount of effort, right? Obviously you're putting in a lot of effort, but is there still that same drive to try and repeat, especially this early on, or is it a little bit more laxed, especially with how far ahead you are with the rest of the pack, or is it still 150%?
I think it's a tiny bit more relaxed, as we could tell from our game against Cringe Crew. And I think we should get back to 150, which we're like looking for right now. So at DreamHack, we're back at the 150 drive.
Okay.
And yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome.
I'm glad to hear the confidence that you'll be at DreamHack. Last real question before I ask you for some shoutouts. When are we going to see the Dimi stream, man?
Coming soon, TM. I don't know yet. I have to move to another place to get better internet connection, and it's taking a lot of time because things are going really slowly. So I'm sorry if I delay it all.
No, I feel you. I think there's a lot of people that would enjoy it. So congrats on your recent school stuff. I see you've been making some moves. Any shout outs you want to say before we let you go, man?
Quick shout out to Hinduman. Happy birthday, bro. And also shout out to Allied. We're all wishing the best in this battle against Cancer.
Awesome. Thank you.
Very much so. Thank you very much to the solo laner, Dimi for Panthera. They now sit number 1, and they have generally always sat number 1. Let's take a look at the games that we'll continue on seeing this weekend. Saturday, Paradigm versus Hungry for More, and then we get to see a repeat of Panthera as they take on Team Dignitas.
So, funny enough, they actually also Panthera will also face Dignitas in week 6 as well. So they'll have kind of a week break, but face them off twice, and then Allegiance with the doubleheader on Sunday.
Now, if you're at home looking at that Panthera game, Dignitas, I think, can pose a threat to Panthera. We saw Cringe Crew take a game off of Panthera. Dignitas has been very interesting lately.
It's a possibility.
I definitely think that's something to keep an eye out for. So that's going to do it here for our Friday broadcast. We are going to take a look, as we said, this weekend should be very exciting. But happy birthday to Hindu Man. Definitely want to say happy birthday. It's always fun having another guy as part of the team. And as Dimi said, Allied definitely in our thoughts. Final thoughts about our entire afternoon today.
Pretty solid. Pretty, I think, expected games for the most part.
Sure.
The split, maybe you could have saw Torpedo maybe drop those 2 games, but for the most part, kind of an expected turnaround. But still, Europe and North America are so competitive. I said it already in a tweet. It's the fact that Panthera going to DreamHack and everyone else is a question mark. They are, right? I think leftovers are not out of the question, but very unlikely after Cringe Crew's performance, but there's still hope.
I think you hit the nail on the head. Expected, maybe. Exciting, definitely. We'll catch you this weekend. Saturday, that's tomorrow. We'll catch you then. Peace out.